All right, I just got this book, by Peter Kingsley. This is his latest book. It's called A Book of Life. You can see the title, barely read it. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna page through it. I was gonna go somewhere else, and I thought, well, I'll just check it out. This was his Ph.D. thesis at Oxford in 1996, and then I read this book soon after. I've read the footnotes to this book. I haven't read the actual book yet. It was 2 volumes, and the second volume is the endnotes. So I'm waiting for the paperback. This is his analysis of Jung. And so this book is more of a memoir. And I just speed read it. I haven't read it word for word, so I can't really do it justice. But the reason I'm making a video about this is because it turns out he ends up going to Urfa, Turkey. And he's told to go there, and he gets initiated into the ancient Pythagorean cave meditation, where there are these women that they're lying down head to toe in a circle on the stone in a cave. And he's there overnight, but before he goes there, apparently he wasn't feeling well. And so then he had a near-death experience in the cave. And it turns out that this cave was actually, it's considered in the Sufi tradition that it's where Abraham and Job were all initiated, and Moses, and also the Gnostics of the original Christians, and the Pythagoreans. And it turns out that this town Urfa in so he says right here, so he says the Gnostics were persecuted. The Gnostics were the original Orthodox Christians. See, this is his big point. Now, it turns out that this town, Urfa, Turkey, as I'm reading this, his experience, it actually is Edessa, Edessa. And he says, he explains that Urfa is actually Edessa. And suddenly I remembered that the original philosopher of Christianity was from Edessa, or his church was in Edessa. This is Justin Martyr, and his student returned back to Edessa. And as Marian Hiller reveals, Justin Martyr relied on a Greek Pythagorean philosophy. Here it is right here, Edessa. A Gnostic who lived in the city 1,800 years ago when it was named Edessa. Bardaisan. Now, I'm going to look up what was Bardaisan's connection to Justin Martyr. I'm going to look that up. And so here we have, not only do we have the original Sufi lineage back to the, supposedly, the Pythagorean alchemy, cave meditation, but we also have the original Christian lineage back to the Gnostics. And then he connects it back to the Native Americans. And his previous book was about the Native American tradition going back to Mongolia, the ancient, Mongolian from the Native American. So he's connecting it back to the Tibetan, Central Asian lineage that connects it right back to the same lineage. Of course, it originates out of Africa, but this is the Gnostic tradition, and the Sufi tradition also goes to Egypt, which he talks about in his other books too. So he's focusing on the destruction of ecology by the modern Western science, and how this connects back to the Native American spiritual training, and how he was connected with this through his ancient, his cave meditation experience that he had. And it's a really stunning book. He was accepted into this circle of a gathering of native indigenous elders who were doing spiritual healing. And the other Westerners couldn't understand why. And it's because he himself was initiated into this ancient lineage. That's the true origin of Christianity also. So it's a really powerful book. It's like people need to realize that, there is a truth to the even the Abrahamic religions from this cave meditation connection to the earth, because they lie barefoot in the earth on the stone, and they fast and meditate. And this connects back to the cosmic mother, the cosmic goddess, and he calls Persephone in here. But in that Asian Turkey, it was originally Hecate. There's different names, for the emptiness. So I'll read the book word for word and enjoy that. But so, he's comparing the Persian Sufis with the Native Americans, and how the Persians, they preserved this, the Sufi tradition preserved this secret Pythagorean teaching that's actually from Turkey, from West Asia. It's from like 10,000 years ago. And this is really what he's trying to maintain, and he's tying it back to the contrarian clown. The San Bushmen, they have this same concept of the clown contrarian. I can't remember the term they use for it, but the trickster, the trickster. And anyway, this is an intense book because it's a memoir, and it's like he's written a lot of books based on this experience. He never came out with what his experience was, so this is the first book that really explained what inspired him to write his other books and to do his research. And of course, all of his books are meticulously researched. So if we go into the index, you're going to find these great footnotes. And so I'm real happy I got this book, and Peter Kingsley, he's connected the Pythagorean tradition back to the Taoist also. And of course, he doesn't emphasize the music theory as much, but he emphasizes the singing, how the singing is a key that the ancient pre-Socratic teachings were actually hymns. They were songs. The poetry was sung. And so there's a secret to the singing, the tuning, and that's what I get into. And so we can see from his footnotes, he goes back he's talking about Jungian psychology. So I'll read his book on Jung, which should be very interesting. And he cites his Ph.D. year, 1995. So I discovered his Ph.D. when I first did my master's, my final self-directed research in fall of 2000 is when I first discovered Peter Kingsley. So it was over 20 years ago. Okay, so we'll get back to this book. And so as usual, his books are well worth reading. They're fascinating. And thanks for your time.